Naaman was not an Israelite. Instead, he held a prestigious position as the chief military commander of the army of the king of Syria, also called Aram. The Bible describes him as a great man before his Lord and held in esteem, having won impressive military victories, seemingly with Jehovah's allowance. Yet, despite his rank, influence, and honor, Naaman faced a deeply personal crisis. He suffered from leprosy, a chronic and debilitating skin disease. This illness would have been both physically painful and socially isolating. In the ancient world, leprosy was often viewed as a stigma, something that even a high-ranking official could not escape. This detail sets the stage for one of the central themes that Jehovah's Witnesses emphasize: that our standing before God does not depend on human status or wealth, but on humility and a willingness to obey His directives. The turning point in Naaman's account comes through a rather unexpected source: a young Israelite girl. She had been taken captive during one of Syria's military campaigns and now served Naaman's wife. Despite her situation, the girl expressed genuine concern for her master's well-being. She suggested that if Naaman were to go to the prophet of Jehovah in Israel, he could be cured of his leprosy. That an Israelite captive, who by rights might have resented her position, would show compassion toward her foreign master is a noteworthy point. Jehovah's Witnesses often highlight this as evidence of the kind of love and forgiveness God expects of His worshippers. It also illustrates Jehovah's ability to use anyone, regardless of their rank or circumstances, to accomplish His purpose and guide sincere individuals toward truth and healing. Encouraged by this information, Naaman sought permission from his king and traveled to Israel to seek out the prophet Elisha. At first, the approach Naaman took reflected what one might expect from a high-ranking official. He arrived with an entourage and rich gifts, expecting special treatment and perhaps a grand ceremonial display of divine power. But here we see another important lesson. Elisha did not even meet Naaman face to face at first. Instead, he sent a messenger to instruct Naaman. He was to bathe 7 times in the Jordan River. To Naaman, this command was both surprising and somewhat offensive. Syria had more impressive rivers than the Jordan. Why should he humble himself to bathe in this comparatively unimpressive river of a foreign land? This reaction reveals the human tendency to question divine direction when it does not align with our personal sense of dignity or reason. Jehovah's Witnesses understand Naaman's initial prideful response as something we all might relate to. Often, individuals look for remarkable, dramatic interventions from God when what's truly needed is simple, faithful compliance with His instructions. Naaman's servants, who likely cared about his well-being, encouraged him. If the prophet had told you to do something extraordinary, wouldn't you have done it? How much more, then, when he says to you, bathe and be clean. 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 13, paraphrased. This gentle reasoning helped Naaman see that obedience, even to a simple or seemingly unimpressive command, could lead to blessings. Accepting this counsel, Naaman humbled himself. He dipped 7 times in the Jordan as Elisha's messenger directed. Remarkably, on the 7th immersion, his flesh became clean and healthy, like that of a young boy. This miraculous healing was not just a physical restoration, it also symbolized a purification of Naaman's spirit and attitude. Filled with gratitude and awe, Naaman returned to Elisha, this time with genuine reverence. He publicly declared, "Now I know that there is no God in all the earth except in Israel." 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 15, New World Translation. For Naaman, a man of another nation and faith background, to acknowledge Jehovah's unique sovereignty highlighted a core scriptural teaching. The God of Israel is not a local deity, but the one true God of all peoples. Jehovah's Witnesses often point to Naaman as an example of what can happen when a person, regardless of upbringing or status, seeks God in the right way. Naaman's shift from pride to humility, and his eventual public confession of Jehovah's supremacy, underscores the inclusive nature of Jehovah's worship. It shows that Jehovah sees beyond national or cultural boundaries and is willing to extend His favor to those who sincerely turn to Him. Additionally, Naaman's willingness to take home some soil from Israel to continue worshiping Jehovah in his own land, 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 17, symbolized his commitment to remain loyal to God, even in an environment where worship of false gods prevailed. From the perspective of Jehovah's Witnesses, Naaman's account reminds believers that genuine faith often requires setting aside human pride, preconceived notions, and social standing. Spiritual healing, like the physical healing Naaman experienced, comes through simple obedience to Jehovah's instructions, faith in His power, and a willingness to receive his guidance, even when it arrives from an unexpected source. It highlights that God's blessings are not confined to a particular people or status group. Rather, he invites all to approach him with a sincere and humble heart. In essence, Naaman's story is more than a historical narrative. It provides a timeless lesson. The path to divine favor and spiritual well-being often involves humbly following God's direction, acknowledging his sovereignty, and demonstrating gratitude by altering one's life course in harmony with his will. For Jehovah's Witnesses, Naaman's life stands as a powerful example that the true God welcomes all who earnestly seek him, adjusting their outlook and actions to align with his righteous standards. Please share and like and please subscribe.